Final Fantasy VII Rebirth just got some amazing new updates. From game length, side quests, an upcoming demo, and so much more, we've got a lot to get into regarding the much anticipated follow-up to the acclaimed Final Fantasy VII Remake. Before we get into the content, I'd like to introduce you to my giveaway I am doing for the digital deluxe edition of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This edition entitles the winner to the game, a digital mini soundtrack, a digital artbook, the magic pot summoning materia, the reclaimant choker accessory, and the orchid bracelet armor. Enter the link in the description or in the pinned comment to enter into the giveaway, as the event will be ongoing until the night of Thursday, February 22nd, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have faith that this game will be one worth playing, especially for those who enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Remake, so enter into the giveaway and test your luck, as this is my way of saying thank you to all those who keep this channel running. And with that, we've got lots to discuss with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so let's get right into it. Releasing on February 29th, 2024, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be releasing exclusively on the PlayStation 5 for at least 3 months. While we know the game will eventually make its way onto at least the PC, there is no confirmed date for that version. It may take a few months or a year, but I will inform you all of any updates pertaining to future platform releases when I obtain that info. The second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, Rebirth follows Cloud Strife and party immediately following the events of Final Fantasy VII Remake, where the crew have made their way outside the walls of Midgar and find themselves free in the vast world that surrounds them. While we don't yet have an idea of how the game will be presented with its massive world, we do have insight into the game's scale and, quote, world map, when game director Naoki Hamaguchi and some of his development staff sat down with PlayStation Blog in an in-depth interview. Hamaguchi states the following regarding the size of the game world. The world map is vast and expansive, so not all the locations on it will be used in the main story alone. In fact, volume-wise, the amount of side content in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is nearly double that of the main quest content. Players who want to enjoy Final Fantasy VII on an even deeper level can explore all the corners of the world, discovering many different and exciting experiences such as new stories, battles, and even minigames to play. It will also be possible to return to any of the regions in the world even after the main quest moves on from that area, so you don't have to worry about leaving things behind or unfinished. So while the game is clearly going to be massive and much larger than Final Fantasy VII Remake, sporting 100 hours of content, we don't yet know how the map will function. Creating an open world game with this level of fidelity in the graphics is certainly not impossible, but would most likely require many more years to craft, making me think that we will either have instanced areas like in Final Fantasy XII, or even the world map akin to Final Fantasy XVI. Regardless, these maps that we will explore are going to be absolutely enormous, with awesome ways to traverse them. We saw Cloud on a Segway in what appears to be Costa del Sol, but we have confirmation that Rebirth will feature a wide variety of chocobos to tame that are unique to the many regions in the world. Hamaguchi, in the same interview, explains that there will be mountain chocobos that can climb cliffs, sky chocobos that can fly, and many more that players can utilize to fully explore each area. Hamaguchi explains that the game starts off with Cloud's team being given the objective of tracking down Sephiroth, and reiterates that the world is the player's oyster, and that the game's environments are there to reinforce the grand scale of the world in contrast to the highly urban Midgar. We've put a lot of emphasis on exploration-focused game design with this title, as we wanted to create that feeling of going on a journey while traveling around the world in pursuit of evidence of Sephiroth's movements. Players will come across an insane number of side quests, minigames, and more, seeing as Hamaguchi reported that tackling all the side content nearly doubles the length of the main campaign. And this new trailer from the recent State of Play really showcases the sheer variety of activities on offer here. While the minigames will pop up around various parts of the world and in the main quest, there is no better place to demonstrate this than the Gold Saucer, a hub of minigames and side activities that many fans of the original PS1 classic fondly remember. Hamaguchi confirms that all those minigames and even new ones will be present in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, with the scale of these minigames being truly grand. Hamaguchi confirms that while many of the minigames can be experienced in the main story, more games and challenges will unlock as the player progresses in the campaign, enticing players to return to the Gold Saucer for more fun to be had. Speaking of the Gold Saucer, the date seen on the Ferris wheel will return here in Rebirth. While the game is going to be absolutely massive, even launching on 2 discs, it should be mentioned that not every area of Final Fantasy VII's massive world can be accessed. Wutai is such a place that cannot be traveled to in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but is instead going to be featured in the 3rd game of the Final Fantasy VII trilogy. With the game confirmed to take place during the events leading up to the Forgotten Capital, which marked the end of Disc 1 in the original PS1 game, we don't yet know if some areas accessible after Disc 1 will be present here in Rebirth. What I can confirm is that some events will be happening out of order here in this new remake trilogy, so we'll just have to see the extent of what can be experienced when the game launches early next year. That said, let me know what you think about the world design of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and also let me know in the comments what you think the game structure will look like. Do you think it'll be an open world? Maybe feature instanced areas or simply selecting areas to warp to on the map like in Final Fantasy XVI? Let me know in the comments. Moving on to the characters and combat. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth confirmed that we will be coming across characters like Cait Sith and Vincent Valentine here in this second part of the remake, and their designs look awesome. Red 13 will be playable from the start as he was not playable in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's likely we will run into Cid at some point in Rebirth. While characters like Yuffie and Vincent were secret characters in the original Final Fantasy VII, we know Yuffie will be incorporated into the main narrative this time around, and it also looks like Vincent will as well. The voice of Vincent Valentine is reported to be none other than Matthew Mercer, known for his numerous roles in anime like Attack on Titan and Naruto, and in the gaming world, being the voice of Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom to Yusuke Kitagawa in Persona 5, with another prominent role serving as the Dungeon Master in Critical Role. We have some new info regarding Red 13's battle integration from the same interview with PlayStation Blog, with Hamaguchi stating that Red 13 will have his own Revenge Gauge, in addition to his Limit Break. The Revenge Gauge will charge up when Red 13 guards enemy attacks, and can spend that gauge once fully charged to use a variety of unique abilities. While Red 13 is becoming playable in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, creative director Tetsuya Nomura tells PlayStation Blog that there are characters who are accompanying members in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that will become official party members in the next title. We don't yet know who these characters are, but it could be that perhaps Cid and or Vincent Valentine may not be fully playable characters here until the 3rd game releases. New to Rebirth's battle system is something called Synergy Moves. These moves can be used by issuing synergy commands by using a gauge similar to the Limit Break gauge. These synergy moves can be used freely at any time should the gauge be charged, allowing characters in the battle party to team up in special attacks, with Hamaguchi adding, players will feel the relationships and bonds that have developed between the characters even more so than in the previous game. In addition to the new synergy mechanic, skill trees have been added for more customization of character growth. The aforementioned synergy abilities can also be unlocked through the skill trees. The game will come packed with much more materia than in the first game, and many more summons will be made available, further expanding battle party customization. In the recent trailer from the State of Play, we caught brief glimpses of Alexander and Odin, with Hamaguchi stating that there will be extended side content based on summons that weren't featured in the original Final Fantasy VII. Considering how massive the scope of this extended Final Fantasy VII universe is in the remake trilogy, it makes sense that Square would want to include more summons than the original game. Now, I want you to let me know in the comments which summons you'd like to see here in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But for me, I gotta say, seeing Anima in here would be pretty freaking cool. Nomura confirms that flashbacks will feature fully playable party members, so players will be able to assume control over Sephiroth during the sequence in which he and Cloud went on that fateful expedition together in the original title. Now, all of this sounds like a lot, right? Well, we will be seeing a lot more of this game real soon, as Square has confirmed that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be at the Tokyo Game Show running September 21st through the 24th, with Rebirth taking over the main stage on September 23rd at 1 p.m. Japan Standard Time. This event will be boasting insights from the developers with an exclusive first look and hands-on experience with the game. For those who have played Final Fantasy VII Remake, player progress from that game will not transfer over, but the developers have created, quote, some special bonuses for fans who played the previous game, allowing them to start with a little something extra, end quote, confirms Hamaguchi. So, there you have it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be absolutely massive, packing 100 hours of content in the trilogy's first companion piece to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'd like to know from you all in the comments what you are looking forward to most in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and go ahead and enter into the giveaway if you haven't already done so. Make sure to watch this video going over all the incredible changes happening to Persona 3 Reload in this video, and be sure to stay tuned to the channel for more updates regarding Final Fantasy. Thank you all for the awesome support, and I will see you real soon in the next one.